Alright guys, welcome back. So we're just back with the second other video I wanted to talk about, the Forza Horizon 6. Apparently there's an announcement maybe next week or something, or next month, sorry. So I'm just checking what the one of the more gaming channels thought about. So I just saw this one, he seems to be pretty popular. Also got this one up here I might look at too, because I know this guy very well.
Forza Horizon 6
So
Japan.
Yeah, so I watched them both. We'll get started right now. I might make it fast so we don't have to listen to it for 16 minutes.
I expect to be making this video so soon after I made last week's Forza Horizon 6 news video, but here we are. Quick recap for those of you who might have missed it. Last week, I uploaded a video titled Forza Horizon 6 might be taking place in Japan. In that video, we broke a news story where an Australian car dealer had photographed a Forza Horizon developer out at their dealership scanning K-cars, Japanese K-cars. In that video, we basically broke down all the information from the car that was actually being scanned to the developer who was actually doing the scanning, and if the whole thing was legit. And long story short, that news piece went absolutely viral.
Never heard of it.
Every single website, a ton of YouTubers, and everything in between picked up the news story and ran with it. Now, I mean, most of them ran with it without giving any credit, but that's not the point of this video. Bit of a fun fact for you, I was actually sent that screenshot on August 10th, and I sat on that photo for nearly 2 weeks before I decided to upload that video last week. Anyways, long story short, ever since we broke that news story, everybody and their mother has been shouting Forza Horizon 6 Japan, Forza Horizon 6 Japan. I mean, to be
it sounds like it.
Shouting Forza Horizon Japan ever since Forza Horizon. However, this is actually the first time we actually have some evidence pointing towards Forza Horizon.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Prior to this, everybody's been kind of wanting Japan, but there's never been any real indications going, yeah, Japan's happening in Forza Horizon 3 because of this, this, and this. It was never really like that. This is the first time we've got some actual evidence pointing towards that. And today, we just got some brand new news that we need to talk about that I think might make Forza Horizon 6 Japan even more likely. So let's jump into it. Yesterday, the lovely people over at Windows Central put up this article. The article started off breaking down the news story that we shared from last week, and we sort of kind of said the same thing about how the developer was spotted in Australia scanning K-cars, which doesn't confirm Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, but kind of raises the possibility for it.
Yeah, sounds suspicious.
However, what followed that was extremely interesting and is some brand new news that we need to talk about. They said this: of course, Windows Central has more to add to the story thanks to our sources. Windows Central has seen documentation suggesting Forza Horizon 6 will be announced at this year's Tokyo Game Show.
Oh, that would be the perfect spot for it if it's in Tokyo.
Strongly suggesting Forza Horizon 6 is actually planned to be announced during 2025's Tokyo Game Show, an annual gaming-focused conference.
Good. That would be nice. I'd love to hear it, guys.
Whoa.
That's why I'm putting a lot of effort in number 5 at the moment.
That we need to break down. Number 1, what is the Tokyo Game Show? The Tokyo Game Show is an annual game show that obviously takes place in Tokyo, Japan. It's sort of like a mini E3 of sorts, kind of like a Gamescom where developers will go out there, publishers will go out there to showcase their new products, their new games, their new stuff that they want people to buy. This year, the Tokyo Game Showcase is happening on September 25th to September 28th. Anyways, over the past couple of years,
25th, okay, so about a month.
Tokyo Game Showcase with a bigger and bigger scale, sort of kind of.
Why is the game still running in the background?
They're going to be at this year's Tokyo Game Show, and it's going to make it one of the biggest Tokyo Game Shows ever. If we go back to the Windows Central,
I mean, I like the presentation he's doing for the talking. It's actually kind of cool.
Here, rather than at events like Gamescom, only makes sense.
I'm not going to do that, but I think it's kind of cool.
In Japan. What I find particularly interesting is it's not just one of these pieces of information that makes or breaks the story. It's kind of when you add them all up together, it makes you go, yeah,
it's suspicious. That's what it is.
Possible and almost likely now. We already have direct confirmation from the developers that they're rescanning JDM cars like the Nissan S15 and the Toyota A86, for example. We have this leak of the developers scanning more JDM K cars, and we have this piece of news from Windows Central now suggesting that Forza Horizon 6 is going to be getting announced during this year's Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, okay, so that's if it happens. I mean, it may not happen though.
You go, Japan's looking very
likely.
Now hear me out, because I think this might be an absolute galactic brain play. Get your little tinfoil hats on. Everything I'm about to say is just vibes and thoughts that I've had, but it kind of coincides with vibes and thoughts that I've had, and it kind of makes sense. Hear me out. I've said for a while that Forza Horizon 6 and GTA 6 are kind of in this everlasting game of chicken. Very expensive game of chicken, where only one side is kind of playing. I've been saying for a while that it doesn't seem like a very smart decision, and I doubt the developers would want to put Forza Horizon 6 in a release window anywhere near to GTA 6. Although the games aren't direct competitors, there is a ton of overlapping audience, and I would imagine.
Yeah, there
Forza
is definitely
Horizon 5,
overlap.
They want to stay as far away from a GTA 6 as possible. Forza Horizon has always followed the classic release schedule. Announce the game in June, release it in September, October, November sort of timeline. And that's what they've done for every old Forza Horizon game. But that might be changing when they're going up against the behemoth that is GTA. If they do in fact announce the game in September, I've got to assume we will not be seeing this full in-depth trailer showcasing all of this stuff. I've got to assume it's going to be a smaller sort of teaser trailer, kind of going, not for, hey, Forza Horizon 6 Japan, we're announcing it in Japan, expect more news soon. That's what I kind of expect to see. And just to add on to that, the developers can always play it super safe and just give a general release date of 2026, which kind of gives them a massive release window. If GTA 6 comes out in May like they're supposed to, then hey, great, Forza Horizon can go with their usual release schedule, September, October, November, whatever they choose to do. If, or I should say when, GTA 6 inevitably gets delayed again, Forza Horizon can go, yoink, let's pick up that spring release date from them, let's drop it then, GTA can do whatever GTA does later on, we're not worried about that. I think that is a galactic brain play. I know I've said it before, but I feel like I have to say it again. Back in Forza Horizon 5, the reason the developers wanted to focus on that location was because it was an emerging market for Xbox. Xbox saw massive growth in Mexico and Spanish-speaking countries in general, and they wanted to give a nod to that audience by basing the game in Mexico, having those players drive around familiar locations for them, and grow that market for Xbox even more. Now here's the thing, the Xbox has always struggled in Japan, but right now, Xbox is actually doing really, really well. The Xbox Series generation has already outsold the Xbox One generation.
Definitely, I agree with that.
If you combine that with Xbox's overall growth across Asian markets in general, this kind of makes a lot of sense. Like I said though in my last video, we will have to see. If we're gonna hear
Yeah, it's a wait and see game. It's just if they do it. But I think New Japan would be good because they might be able to add different game modes and shit.
Last year's showcase took place on the Thursday. I would
But obviously, they'll probably put more on the drifting type of races.
That would mean September 25th.
Now, that would be a good one, a drift, like a drift straight race, instead of just a normal straight race.
Then, though, we'll have to wait, which is what I said in last week's video, right up until some more news broke. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, that sounds cool, guys.
Have a great day. Goodbye.
All right, so that's got a bit of information there. So there's a lot of information there we can post, I guess. So I'm hoping it comes out soon. It'll be probably next year, if anything, which is good. It'll give me time to beat it and do all that stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I've always liked Forza Horizon for whatever reason. I think because it's a... I know I wasn't really a fan of motorsport. I got bored of that pretty quickly. But yeah, this is cool. Let's go to the next one I want to watch, and then we'll talk about it completely, and then we'll finish up.
Is looking more and more likely. We've had quite a few indications pointing to this game, the next one coming out next year, very likely being in Japan. And I'm gonna get straight to the point because there's a lot to discuss here. This appeared on the internet clearly from an Instagram story, and it says, exciting news, we have Cody here from Forza Horizon Official, shooting cars for the next installation in the series. As there are no late model K cars in America, he's flown out from the States to use our cars as the basis for their digital versions. We are huge gamers here at Cullen Classic, and it is an honor to be supporting Forza and making K-cars accessible virtually for people that can't have them IRL. If you buy a car they've scanned, we have a prize for you too. How good. Right, we have to digest this because this is not the first time something like this has happened. You may remember, this is years ago now, we're talking 10 plus years ago now. Someone posted that their R34 was being scanned for Drive Club, which essentially leaked the whole DLC of that they were doing a Japan location and the cars. This is not a rare occurrence, it happens, there's NDAs in place, but realistically, I mean, maybe this social media guy didn't sign it. I don't know. Right, before we go
he didn't care.
Like talking about car scanning and what this means hugely, there is also one other point that I think a lot of people are missing on this, and I think this is quite interesting. As there are no late model K cars in America, why would that matter? He's flown out from the States to use their cars as the basis for their digital version. See, this is interesting to me.
Definitely gotta start using the Warrior
working on Forza Horizon not from the United States. So what that would mean is this person actually doesn't work for Playground Games, or at least works from the Forza Motorsport office, which means they are from the Forza Motorsport team, realistically, which I'm not really surprised to hear, points in the direction that they are now mostly a support studio, maybe the technical studio for getting the engine and the cars in the game. And
that could be it.
I thought the Horizon team themselves were the ones that actually did this. But no, turns out that, yes, the Forza Motorsport team is very much now technical. You remember Ghost?
Yeah, well, it's
What
just a
happened to
scan.
the
It's not like it
remainder of
needs
the
too much.
studio? Not many people. They became an engine support team, so they're also working on Battlefield. I'm going to cry if I talk about that too much. All right, let's get this excitement out of the way. Obviously, what this would suggest is that they are working on a Japan map. Why would they be adding K cars? The last DLC packs pointing at K cars. The rescanning and recreation of very important cars, like the S15 already got done in Forza Motorsport. They were doing something
Definitely.
with like, the R32. Basically, the really terrible Japanese cars that are in the game are getting redone. And it isn't specifically just the Japanese cars, to be clear, but it heavily biases on the Japanese cars. So it would suggest that they want to do an area right. And that was something they really pushed with Forza Horizon 5, trying to get Mexico authentically. I would genuinely love to see how their method of scanning is.
That looks like a tiny little vehicle. I mean, the guy's taller than the vehicle.
Maybe they're doing it proper manually. So with game studios, what they have is a couple of teams, and some of the teams work on audio. Look at the amount of audio equipment that is used to record.
Yeah, that's a
cars for
lot
Gran
of
Turismo.
audio stuff,
Gran Turismo
guys.
goes that extra mile. They are like the big dogs when it comes to this type of stuff. The difference between Gran Turismo and Forza is that, well, Gran Turismo actually had the same problem when it came to the PS3 era. We're talking Gran Turismo 6. They were still using original PlayStation PS2 car models that quite frankly was stretching, just not up to scratch in the amount of polygons available, the textures available. Anything that had been built previously is just so old and so outdated that it looked shite. Well, fast forward to now, that's the exact same thing that Forza is having. Anyway, the modern tech of scanning and getting a car digitally is so much better than it used to be, to the point where we know what they did for the original cars in Forza Motorsport is actually line them up and do it by eye, because clearly it was completely wrong. The scales and proportions, a lot of the cars were completely off, and again, for them to be redoing that really shows their commitment to actually Japanese cars, at least majority Japanese cars. Thankfully, that's not just fully Japanese cars.
Of course, they'll have all cars when you run the world.
The R34 is pretty.
But I think they're going to focus on Japanese cars. That's where I think. And Japanese culture when it comes to cars.
Anyway, this is the actual vehicle that they scanned. The 2020 Suzuki Every Piece. This is a 2020 car. Like, I just love that Japan create things like this. And it really excites me, the idea that they're actually going authentic with this. If they go in masses, I mean, Forza Horizon 5 has just launched on PlayStation and it's at the top of its damn game. Sales-wise, decimating racing games over on PlayStation. Of course, it's the game that people jump into when they buy Game Pass. It is on the top of the world right now. So if they are not able to do justice to a new location, that's where it could all fall apart. And that's where I'm a little bit worried and reserved. But I'm optimistic because realistically, this team has been split into multiple different locations. There's now 2 studios formed from people that left the Playground Games studio. So I'm hoping they're really going to take some risks with this one now that some of those people are out of the way.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Maybe the Forza team wanted to go harder with the direction. And, you know, the people that split up were like, no, we want Forza to be the same. Or
maybe.
the opposite. We'll have to wait and see. But you can go through a whole bunch of their cars that they have sold. They've got their sold list. It is not just Japanese cars that this place sells, but Australia has a huge amount of Japanese cars that, just like America did for a really long time. I mean, Toyota's still dominating force, but you've got like actual Suzuki.
Yeah, we've got a lot of cars.
Harriers. You've got the Honda N-Box GL. A lot of these cars, and clearly, as they stated, if you buy a car they've scanned, we have a prize for you too. How cool. Making K cars accessible virtually for people who can't have them IRL. It's all stating that it wasn't just this one vehicle they scanned. So
nah, it would be just a start, so they'll probably have multiples.
Worst case scenario is that they're just scanning them for traffic cars and we're screwed. Now, I've had my reservations.
Oh,
about
that's supposed to be
Horizon
already.
Japan for a while, and clearly
I don't think they're doing that, though.
A lot of things are pointing towards Japan being a thing. We've already kind of assumed that there are now more things pointing to Japan than Germany was a previous one, but Germany, from what we've heard, has been rumored for the last 3 games. I'm still set on there's going to be a Forza Horizon Dubai at some point because it fits the game incredibly well. Don't you want more desert? I let you do. So my
No, I
reservations
don't.
about the idea of Japan are mostly because I know what people's expectations are.
It means there's gonna be a lot of
I
mountain
genuinely
driving.
think there are series that would better portray a Japanese car culture thing than Forza Horizon in its current standard. Now, if you've played any of the recent Horizon games, and I'm pretty sure that most of you have played more than one Horizon, whether that's Horizon 1 all the way at the beginning and Horizon 5, or you've played Forza Horizon 4 and Forza Horizon 5, I think it all becomes very clear that each game becomes less structured, less feel, less authentic, if you will, to that area. And hey, I mean, I've never been to Mexico. I get that they were really pushing the idea that this is authentic Mexico. And to be fair to them, that game was also on the original Xbox One, which was, of course, limiting what they could do. This next game is not going to be held by those same restrictions. What you're going to have
True.
is it's just going to be on the new gen, on
Maybe that's
PC,
why it's
on
taken so long for them to
PS5,
make it, to be honest.
on day one, if not very, very shortly after. Those limitations have been lifted. The limitation now is the Series S, but ultimately Forza Horizon looked good on the Xbox One, so they can achieve anything if they put their mind to it.
Oh, definitely.
It's besides the point. I don't care how the game looks. What I care about is the feel. Something that Forza Horizon struggles to do is create a believable world in where the people, the characters, of course, they usually they come from the UK or where they've got the Welsh bloody rally guy or whatever, and they all come along on the adventure. But what I want is not just like 2 Mexican people in the game. I want them to have all of the cast be Japanese. I want to be engulfed in the world. I don't want a British colonizer teaching me about Japan. I want a Japanese person.
I'm getting
teaching
your
me
point.
about
Yeah, that
Japan.
makes sense.
Okay? We're bringing back the Horizon colonization joke. That's what they do. They're spreading across the world and stealing all the resources. That's why they're there. No, I'm worried about the environment. I'm worried that Forza kind of tends to lean quite heavily on the countryside elements of the world. What you've got is a lot of just nothing. Okay, the Japanese countryside, of course, is going to be a little bit more unique, but when we saw Mexico, I mean, it just kind of felt exactly the same as America or the UK countryside.
Yeah, empty.
Green. You know,
I mean, the only thing you really find is some
inspired by it.
trees and a few
Someone that is
houses there and there.
of course, I'm
That's about
excited
it.
About Forza Horizon 4, I noticed most of the environment I just couldn't care about at
Yeah.
all. And what people are thinking about when they think about Japan being in a Forza Horizon game, they think of a large city. And
Tokyo.
that is something that I have never seen done in a Forza Horizon game. This could be the time for them to do it, but I don't think they're gonna change the format spectacularly because clearly, with the masses, it seems to be doing well in its current format. So, in my opinion, what we're gonna mostly get is Forza Horizon 5, but Japan themed.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's enough. My stance is cautiously optimistic.
Of course, always be
Mildly,
optimistic, but
mildly
yeah, be a little
excited
careful.
Because, of course, it sounds like the quirky car element, they're getting locked down. So if that's anything to go by, it looks like they're going a bit further than they would have previously.
Oh, I hope
There's
so.
no getting around it, there is an absolute chance that this
I
is
like it when
all
they
just
push the
a
envelope,
load
guys.
of-
It's just about...
Maybe it's super old. Maybe it's an idea that was scrapped. It is not official until they confirm it themselves. But it seems likely that it is the case. There is a chance that it could just be a car pack in the new Australia location, because realistically, as I mentioned, Australia has a huge amount of Japanese cars coming in because of the quality of them and the closeness of them. And just ship them on like a little boaty boat and it take a couple hours, right? But if I'm completely honest, it does seem that we are getting Forza Horizon 6 Japan.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking, guys. I think it's New Japan. I'd say about 50 to 60%.
There you go. I know there's someone in the comments asking. Anyway, that's the information we've got. Of course, you're in the right place.
Alright, it's not a lot of information, but it's something.
And of course, I want to...
Alright, we'll finish it up there, guys. Yeah, so some information may not be a lot of information people want. They probably want more information, but hey, I believe it's probably going to be in Japan. As he says, I would like it to be more city-based in this case. Tokyo, hopefully the city's not as like narrow as like the Mexico city was. I mean, that was a terrible... I mean, it was realistic to New Mexico, but the whole thing is just annoying. It's so narrow, and you've got the tendency of hitting something and they can just stop the car instantly. I don't know if that was a thing or just a bug that didn't get ironed out. But I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, guys. So they're doing the team from Australia to New Japan and using all those cars from there. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool thing. I'm excited about it. I'm hoping you guys are gonna be excited about. We will stream this because I'm doing Forza Horizon 5 now, so it makes sense. On that note, we'll finish it up for today, guys, and I don't think there'll be any more videos to be made until tomorrow anyway. But yeah, that's it, guys. Cheers.